Good morning, my beautiful soul followers. How's everyone doing today? No fancy backgrounds today. I am just sitting in actually my client waiting room, just hanging out. And I was thinking about an article I had written a couple days ago about how true love in a relationship happens after the letdown. I figured I would pop on here and figure we would start a discussion on it. I love when you guys get involved in these videos and comment and tell me your opinions, because the fact is you're an expert in your own life. So before I jump too much further in, I am Addison Bell, orgasmic frequency coach, helping you to have that beautiful pleasure, not just in the bedroom, but everywhere between the bedroom to the boardroom. Like truly just embodying that sensation, that pleasure, that energy of life, to live that orgasmic life. So this topic today about the letdown, actually, I kind of stole it. I didn't steal it, but it was inspired by actually a preacher on Easter. I was listening to a preacher by the name of Stephen Furtick, and you can go seek him out. But sometimes his messages really speak to me, And I was listening on Easter, and he was sharing about the story of Jesus. And this is not about religion here. This is just about the story and how before Jesus resurrected, there was a massive letdown in all his disciples. They felt let down. They also felt let down by themselves. They were let down by Jesus. They were like, you know, this person I put on a pedestal, he's gone. He's gone, and I'm not sure I can keep the faith. And then they felt let down by themselves because none of them were by his side. None of them truly stayed by his side in a dire moment, so they felt let down by themselves. And guess what? Jesus had moments where he was like, I feel pretty let down by my disciples. Feel pretty let down. And so that was a really, really short version of the Easter message that this preacher was speaking on, that I got to hear. I got the blessing to hear. And as I was driving, because I was listening to it while driving, the idea that this happens in our life, and truly the love comes after those letdowns in our relationship. And the fact is, our love must be tested. I get people in my office all the time, in my coaching practice, couples or even just singles who are coming to make their relationship better, but they're trying to work on themselves first, since I love seeing my single clients. I love seeing people work on themselves and then upgrade into creating a better world for their relationship. But I get people in my couple sessions, and they will say to me, we never fight. We never fight. We don't, like, it's not a thing. We don't fight. He's perfect. She's perfect. We don't let each other down. And that is usually a big red flag. I'm going to move you guys back. I feel y'all are up in my face today. We never fight. We never fight. And this is a massive red flag, actually, in any relationship, but especially our romantic relationships. It's a massive red flag. Why? Because our love is not really tested. It's not really tested until we lean into those moments of letdown and we allow somebody to let us down. The fact is, to be let down, there has to be some skin in the game. There has to be a level of depth in the relationship. And when somebody tells me they never feel let down by somebody else, they never get into a fight, there's nothing that they disagree on, that is a massive sign that people are not being authentic in the relationship, or there's no depth. There's no depth. There's no true depth of self in the relationship. And a lot of times there's a lot of lying and hiding, and maybe that hiding can be within self. Sometimes it doesn't always have to be hiding from the relationship, but really hiding from the relationship through hiding within self. So not really touching into self to go, actually, that really disappointed me. One of the things I've taken really big issue with in the spiritual community over the last 4 or 5 years is this idea that we should not have expectations. And that when we don't have any expectations, then we can't be let down. And that sounds all amazing when we just speak on it. But the fact is we all have expectations. And expectations are not a negative thing. They are not a negative thing to have expectations. It's to watch your expectations. It's to have appropriate expectations. It's about communicating your expectations. Guess what? I expect those in my life to treat me with respect. And that's an appropriate expectation. And if somebody doesn't live up to that, if they're not going to respect me, if they're going to call me names, hit me, abuse me, guess what? They have not met my expectations, and then we're not in relationship. Then we can't be in relationship. Then it's no longer aligned. So expectations at some level are okay. The fact is, when we get into these romantic relationships, people let us down because we put them up. We put them up on a pedestal. We are saying that the relationship matters. Guess what? People who don't matter in your life, or you don't really care, or your heart's not really there, guess what? They don't let us down. They do not let us down. They don't let us down because there's no skin in the game. We don't care. We don't care. It's like, okay, yeah, all right, yeah, they didn't meet me for lunch. Okay, yeah. All right, he was a jerk, but I wasn't really in it anyway. When we are really in a relationship, we will be let down. And guess what? More than other people letting us down, we let ourselves down. A lot of times, the letdown we point towards other people is a letdown within ourselves. It's a letdown within ourselves of, I let myself down by not speaking up. I let myself down by not asking for my worth. I let myself down by maybe not showing up for that other person. Letdown is a part of life, but guess what? It doesn't stop at the letdown, just like the beautiful preacher spoke about how then, after that letdown, Jesus resurrected and there became this love. The love was more important than the letdown. And again, this is not religious. We're not diving into deep religion, but it's a beautiful example and a beautiful story of how, yes, they all had let each other down. They let themselves down. And at the end of the day, there was still a relationship that needed to be built. And the relationship became stronger because of that letdown. The relationship became stronger because you were able to finally allow the egos to be seen. And when we're in romantic relationships, especially all our relationships, this has to do with our children, our friends, our family, but today we're focused on romantic relationships. When our partners let us down, and they inevitably will, because we're going to have expectations that don't match what they're doing, and they're going to be thinking they're meeting our needs, and we're going to be like, no, I really need this. And so we crash sometimes, and that is just relationship. It's the beauty, it's the learning. But after those letdowns is when you get to have those good, wholehearted communication moments where you're opening your heart, you're sharing where your ego came up, you're allowing somebody else to share where their ego was. You're able to see the other person's shadow more. You're able to see the person, and more than just the human person, you're able to see the soul and our wounds. Because guess what? Yes, we are, spiritual people living, a human existence, but at the end of the day, we are human too. And when we get to see those egos and go, oh, wow, I did step in my ego, or I made assumptions there, or, yeah, I just messed up. I messed up. That is when you can build a stronger bond. Now, this is not, I do not want people taking this as if somebody continues to let me down and abuse me and be mean to me, that's love. That is not love. What I'm saying is that you can build a stronger bond after things have gone downhill a little bit in a relationship, after there has been trauma, after there has been disagreements. That's not to say to stay in a relationship that's unhealthy for you. That's to say if somebody lets you down, you're like, I really needed you there. That if you still want the relationship, if you still love that person, to step in and really allow that love to foster a stronger relationship. A lot of times we are living in a world of cancel relationship culture. I see it all over the place. Actually, it gives me like this sick feeling in my stomach when I see so many of these big spiritual gurus, when we're all our own guru in truth, but I see these big spiritual gurus talking about just cutting people off, cut people off. You know, if they don't treat you like you need, cut them off. And I feel like we're living in that cut off culture. Well, a lot of times we need to be living in the let me see where this is coming from culture. Maybe I'm not seeing the right perspective here. Maybe their mindset is one place and they're making things up on this road and that I'm making things up on this road and we're just not seeing eye to eye right now. Doesn't mean that person's a narcissist or a bad person. Not every person you date, not every person you meet on a dating site is going to be a narcissist. Sometimes we just have different things going on. We have different wounding points. We try to do the best we can most of the time. I have come to find that most people, the average person, really does the best they can with what they've got at the time. Is it perfect? No. And sometimes people don't do the best they can. But the average person does. The love really happens, though, after you've been through something with somebody. When you can look at your partner and go, I get it. You're not perfect. I get it. Yeah, you maybe participated in this moment of wounding, but I love you. I see who you are beyond this issue that we dealt with. And I'm going to lean in. And so if you're one of those people who are like, if somebody lets me down, I'm done. I'm done with the relationship. You know, I want a perfect romantic partner that's never going to let me down. I want you to really look within and go, do I never let myself down? Then why am I expecting perfection? And if you're one of those people who is like, if you fight in a relationship, that means that it's bad. That means that, no, arguing, and I don't mean abusive fighting here. I mean arguing, having disagreements, going, you know, you hurt my feelings. Guess what? Those kind of things build a relationship. We get to truly see each other. And at the end of the day, that's what relationship is. It's trying to see each other. And thank you for everybody jumping on. Eric, David, Mark, everybody, thank you for jumping on. I love seeing you guys. I love seeing people come over and over and over again to my Addison Unleashed videos. So thank you for popping on today. We all let each other down, and we let ourselves down. So see that as a growing point and not as something to just dive deeper into the mud and the muck. The love can bloom from that letdown. It is like the lotus flower that I have actually over there, and I actually have a lotus flower tattooed on my back. It is kind of my thing. It's my thing. You have to go through the mud to get the beauty. And in relationships, sometimes that is true as well. Your love will need to be tested at some point. Can you hold it when the egos are out, when the shadow is out? That's love. When we can really still hold space for ourselves and for others in that environment, because we all have an ego and it will come out. It's just recognizing it, being conscious of it, being able to still hold yourself and somebody else in that space, in a space of love. So, all right, guys, I'm going to go finish my coffee. And I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. I have a bunch of different specials going on for my coaching practice. If you want to work with me one-on-one, then reach out to addisonbell.net. You can go to my website and fill out an application to work with me. I love you guys, and I will see you soon for another Addison Unleashed.